the Watergate Building in Washington, this is Hotline TV. Now here are Hotline editors Amy Walter and John Mercurio.
It's Tuesday. Welcome to Hotline TV. I'm John Mercurio.
And I'm Amy Walter. Today we officially announce our newest segment, Senate Battleground 2008. All right, so let's start off our very first segment in New Hampshire.
Let's do it.
Shaheen, Sununu, what's happening?
Well, we've got a rematch of 2002, essentially. You've already seen Sununu going after Shaheen,
Right.
sort of an unusual thing for an incumbent senator to do, to go after a challenger
Except
before they've even won.
Behind,
Except when you're running 4 points behind in a new poll that just came out today, 5 points actually, I think. You're in big trouble. It's a state that's trended. Actually, you know, Sununu won narrowly by 4 points against Shaheen in the best possible year, one of the best possible years he could have run in 2002. And since then, since that year actually, I don't think he would have won in 2004, obviously not in 2006. Since then, there's been a dramatic decline in Republican support in the state of New Hampshire. It'll be very interesting to see how they do in 2008. He'll be the incumbent. She's been out of office now for quite a while.
Even though she does have a record.
Even though she's got quite a record as governor, which is what he's already attacking her on. She hasn't won the nomination even, but she's already clearly in the crosshairs, if you will.
Yeah, or the driver's seat, perhaps. We can. You know, there's a big NASCAR race up there this weekend. But here's what I will say. Do you like I worked that reference?
Tie-in. It's good. Clever.
The big difference between New Hampshire and Maine is this: that there are a lot of new people moving into New Hampshire all of the time. And remember, everybody in New Hampshire, at least southern New Hampshire, is watching Boston TV. So they are not quite as attuned. They don't get to know their politicians as personally as the folks in Maine do, who have a much higher positive view of Susan Collins, and she's able to sort of stand alone in a way that John Sununu's not. So whenever a wave comes, I think it's much more problematic for a politician in New Hampshire than it is for somebody in Maine, and that has been true for both Democrats and Republicans. 94, obviously disastrous for Democrats in New Hampshire, and then 06, as you said.
What happens? One of the interesting questions will be what happens at the top of the ticket. Is Sununu helped by the possibility of a Romney running as the presidential nominee? Is Shaheen helped or hurt by Hillary Clinton on the top of the ticket? I think Romney, you know, he's got sort of a love-hate relationship with the state of New Hampshire. A lot of Republicans and Democrats, but people in New Hampshire really hold the people of Massachusetts in disdain. It's called Taxachusetts. On the other hand, they're more familiar with them. They know Romney really well, so that could actually be, I think, a benefit for Sununu. But let's move on to other. We got a lot of other. We
got to go quickly through Nebraska. It's now at least
Nebraska.
Yeah, which is not easy to do because it is a
large
state and square and everything.
Hal Daub got in yesterday, already sort of trying to distinguish himself from John Bruning. I think trying to run as a little bit more of the mainstream establishment candidate, which makes sense because I think Bruning has already sort of staked out that conservative wing of the party, having already sort of run against Hagel. Heinemann not getting involved in the race,
which is sort of ironic considering the fact that he has his job thanks to the fact that Bruning left to go be agriculture secretary.
Which I think is just him sort of reading the tea leaves and saying, look, I don't know that Bruning's really been able to sort of establish a foothold in this race so far.
That is perhaps the case. So everybody now waiting to see if Bob Kerrey is going to do this. And if you're Bob Kerrey right now, it's almost as if you're a paranoid Bob Kerrey. Thinking that, or Larry Craig, King, whatever it is, you may think, maybe they're doing this on purpose, right? Trying to lure me in. A poll was released recently by the Bruning campaign that shows that, you know what, I'm not that far behind Johans, and in a three-way race, this thing is totally up for grabs. This could certainly give Kerry, another reason to think about it. And then watching as Heinemann saying, maybe, maybe not.
If they get Bob Kerrey in, they've got the Democrats, the DSCC, Chuck Schumer. It's going to have Bob Kerrey, Gene Shaheen, Mark Warner, all within a week to 10 days of each other. A big, I think, what you're going to see then is the national press sort of looking at the trifecta, looking at the trends in very different states too. You're talking about three very sort of different demographically divided states, I think you're going to see the national media really sort of put their insignia on, their imprint on this the storyline, the Senate Battleground storyline, saying that the Democrats have had a remarkable success in recruiting top challengers in tough states.
And that means that the expectation bar is now very, very high, right, for all three of those. If they do not win in 2008, it will be egg on the face of the DSCC.
That's true, but it doesn't hurt that sort of storyline would come out at at a key time in fundraising, at a key time in the Senate FEC cycle. So that'll be interesting to watch.
All right, just quickly, Idaho Senate. Just note that
30,000 people running
are potentially. Governor Utter has a longer list of people than we ever could have imagined. So this thing may not be a done deal for Lieutenant Governor, as we thought it would be. But looks like we're out of time for today, which is so sad because we really have so much more to talk about.
But the Senate just really gets me going.
We'll see you tomorrow right here on Hotline TV.